Welcome to Bite Size Stories. Today, we meet Eliza. Eliza Ann Burroughs was worried that she might be pregnant. It wasn't the greatest way to start the day, but then again, vomiting isn't great at any time of day. Luckily, Luke wasn't around to have to explain this since he always worked on Thursdays. She had had a hard time explaining most things to him, and a potential pregnancy was not high on her list of things to discuss. She desperately hoped it was the seafood she had eaten the night before at her dad's birthday party, and nothing more. Eliza had met Luke at the Natural History Museum where he worked as a ticket collector. Ever since she had been a child, she was fascinated with plants and animals, and it was a natural fit for her to study ecology at college. She now worked for the government as a grassland and prairie expert and spent most of her days out in the field cataloging the various flora and fauna in the western states. Luke, however, spent most of his days indoors collecting tickets, sneering at various customers, and wishing he could be down at the local gym building his biceps. He had enrolled in the local Body for Life competition and become hyper-obsessed with all things food and fitness related. Eliza was bored of it. And more importantly, she was bored of him. And she was unsure why, even though he was a little cute, she had ever thought him interesting. Good thing she had made the smart decision to move in with him and potentially carry his child. She was pretty confident that her dad would not be impressed either. She was 27 years old, to be fair, but she was in no way in a permanent relationship. She'd never been in a solid relationship. Perhaps she expected too much of her partners. Perhaps she expected too little. She had definitely swung from one extreme to the other with Luke, from hoping for a devoted, nature-loving boyfriend to expecting nothing more than a mumbled grunt of recognition when he came home at night prior to plopping himself onto the couch for some less than erudite television. Smashing. How would she tell him? In fact, why would she tell him? Today was the day Eliza decided to make a stand. She would move out. She looked in the paper today, Thursday. She could potentially find a new place by Saturday. And she could leave with minimal fuss. Start over. Find someone worthy. She wondered if he would notice. She wondered if she cared. Eliza started her Friday morning by grabbing a cup of coffee and opening up her favorite website. She was thrilled to find that her favorite scientist, a Russian ecologist who had incredible piercing eyes, at least in his promo photos, had been awarded Scientist of the Year. Overwhelmed with respect, she began drafting her latest letter to him. The others had, of course, been sent anonymously. She was living with Luke, after all, and this constant letter writing smacked of an emotional affair. Or it would if he had replied, which he hadn't. For the third time that month, she began seriously contemplating the possibility of enrolling in Russian night school classes. It could be useful, she mused, but then could think of no reason why. Sighing to herself, she stopped the letter mid-sentence and resolved to find a new place to live before indulging her teenage whims. First, she would move out of Luke's place. Then she would convince the Russian scientist to love her. She was sure he would.